Hey everybody, this is Alaris here, bringing you a random dungeon from World of Warcraft. I'm currently leveling a Worgen Hunter over on Wormhurst Accord, and I've been just randomly entering dungeons all day. Well, this is my first dungeon of the day. I'm gonna lie to you guys. It's the first dungeon of the day, and we got Hall of Stone. So I guess you guys are gonna get a run through slash playthrough of Hall of Stone while I chat with you and play through. So I've been playing World of Warcraft for 6 years, I would say. Um, Started in high school, sophomore year in high school, and I've been playing. It was about when Burning Crusade had been out for a while. I believe it was right before the Sunwell patch, and my first character ever was a dwarf. Oops, I have aspect of cheetah on. I'm so good at this. First character ever was a dwarf hunter, and he was Alliance. And then a couple of my dad's friends started playing from the Air Force Academy, and I got into Horde and started playing on Bailgun, and played an undead warlock forever on there. He was my first max level character, first main. His name was Alaris, which is where I get my name from now. And he's been... I don't really play him anymore, though. I joined a really good guild, and through most of college raided a lot. Basically cleared everything in Cataclysm, or the beginning of Cataclysm, then kind of quit during Firelands and came back about 2 months after Mists dropped. And my girlfriend started playing, so I switched to an Alliance server with her because she wanted to play Alliance, and I figured, well, if I'm gonna play Alliance, I might as well play a war again. So I'm still in the process of not hating the Horde, or getting to hate the Horde and not hating the Alliance. It's a tough switch, but I'll do anything for love, right? So this is Hall of Stones. This is a Wrath of the Lich King dungeon. It was the third expansion of WoW, and a lot of people didn't like this dungeon. When Random Heroics first came out, a lot of people skipped this dungeon because it was a pain in the butt. There were two of these that were kind of the same, and it was Hall of Stone and Hall of Heroic, or Hall of Stone and Hall of Lightning. And people just didn't like this one. And I could see why, because the final boss, or the second to last boss, was an event, and the event required it was a lot of AoE damage and a lot of picking up adds, and some tanks just weren't able to handle it. But now, of course, that this is in Mists of Pandaria and it's just a leveling dungeon, everyone can just blow through it super quickly, and it's almost a no-brainer dungeon. At least to me it is. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, we're just clearing ads now. There's the first boss is up here, and he's a rock giant, and he does this shatter move AoE. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but he'll basically freeze everyone in a certain radius, and then if you're like not jumping, he'll freeze you, and then he stomps and you die. And it's probably one of the reasons why everyone hates this dungeon, especially because of him. I mean, the ads aren't bad. It's probably him in that event, though. But back in Wrath, you were doing heroics, and everyone wanted Culling of Stratholme anyway to get their Bronze Drake and such like that. So yeah, I guess I'll kind of give you guys just a wrap of what I've thought about Mists. I did level. I had a Tauren Priest that I leveled to 90. He was on Bailgun with Alaris. He was the only other character I've ever gotten to max level. Why is this priest throwing down air feathers? That's weird. And I loved Pandaria. I thought it was a great expansion. I thought Blizzard did really well. I understood that it wasn't a big, huge expansion to expect a lot out of, I guess. It was an expansion to kind of take a step back on the game, look at it, fix it, make sure that we're not messing anything up, and get WoW ready for what could be the final expansion, which would be to like level 100 and whatever comes out in 2014 or something. And so I think they've done it right. I think the talent system has definitely been fixed. The only qualm I do have with it is the daily system that they have set up. I understand the need for the little fortune of good charms for loot, but and I understand why there's not taverns either anymore. Because taverns, you know, you just queued up for heroics and it was super easy, and you just got geared ridiculously fast, and it pretty much handed out to the casuals, and the hardcores got geared really fast. So what I think they could do is go back to Burning Crusade though, and have a mix between what they have in Pandaria, where you have to literally grind heroics all the time, or literally grind dailies all day to get any rep with anybody, and instead of having to do dailies, have specific dungeons give certain reps. Like, it would make sense if Shandopan Monastery gave reps to the Shandopan, or if a dungeon for Heart of Fear, one where you're fighting against the Calaxi. I don't remember all the dungeons right now. I haven't played in Pandaria for a while. Would give rep to the Calaxi, or the Temple of the Jade Monastery, or yeah, the Temple of the Jade Serpent would give rep to the Cloud Serpents, or the Golden Lotus, or something like that. Mogushan Palace, Mogushan Vaults. The Mogushan Dungeon would give rep to the Golden Lotus, something like that, because that it kind of makes sense lore-wise to me, and it kind of makes sense overall. Like, you're not getting a ridiculous amount, and you have to run specific dungeons when you want to. You have to run specific dungeons when you want to rep with a certain faction. It's not it's not as easy as the tabard system, where you just put on a tabard and you could get whoever you wanted. I do like the idea of having tabards. I like wearing tabards. As you can see right now, I'm rocking the Kirin Tor tabard, because I do some light roleplay on this guy, and he's supposed to be studying enchanting in Dal'Ron right now, but he's obviously not doing that right now. He's killing things and using his worm to kill things. So yeah, just weapon. But I mean, that was the only beef with Mists of Pandaria, is that you have to run dailies to get rep, and I think that's not as good. I'd rather there be the dungeon aspect as well, like in Burning Crusade, where certain dungeons gave certain reps to certain factions, certain rep to certain factions. So yeah, there's that. So far, I haven't played a hunter much in Mists. I'm only 77, I think, 78, and I like it so far. I don't really remember a lot from my hunter 6 years ago, my first character, so I don't really remember a lot of the changes they made. I do have this Thrill of the Hunt, which is absolutely ridiculous, and allows me to pretty much cast Arcane Shot forever for no mana. So yeah, this boss, Maiden of Grief, she drops down some black stuff on the ground that you gotta stay out of. And then she has some really annoying NPC talks. She kind of talks about how she's really depressed, and she's kind of emo. It's one of the weirder bosses. But there's the black stuff, you don't want to stand in that. And obviously, because this is Mist, it's super easy, and hunter gear never drops anywhere. I miss the days. I do remember that back in the day, hunters could use anything and everything, and you had mana, and it was awesome. But now I like that I pretty much only share gear with enhancement shamans, and so I'm not really fighting a lot of people for gear. It means it doesn't drop as much, but I don't have to. I used to play a clothy, and cloth drops a lot, and then you're fighting your mages in your raid team and your priests, and it's not as fun. Oh, she dropped something for her that I needed. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. I gotta run all the way back now. But yeah, I like what they've done with hunters. I do like the exotic pet thing. You get that it's level 69, and I know all of you people can snicker. 69. Anyway, and you can get stuff like the worms and the core hounds, and just different pets that actually give raid buffs to your party. The worm doesn't. The worm just has some really good attacks. It has like a really good AoE burrow attack, but for the most part, I can get a specific pet that the raid needs. If we're lacking a hunter, there's a pet that gives stamina buff. If we're lacking a mage, I can get critical hit and spell power from something. So there are those ways. This tank is good until now. Pulling stuff, yay! He's probably gonna blame my pet. But the exotic pet I love. That's way back in Cataclysm, though. You guys have probably heard about that already. And more cloth. Just what I needed. This is Bronzebeard. This is the event, by the way, that I talked about earlier. We're just about to start it. And Braun pretty much just runs through some stuff and gets himself killed, and it's just some obnoxious NPC thing. But he is a master archaeologist of the Alliance, and he's kind of neutral to everybody. So he's not partial to Horde or Alliance. He shows up with either faction, but he is a famous archaeologist and has been running around trying to find the origins of the dwarves. I guess I could get into that now since I'm in Hall of Stones. Pretty much the dwarves were once the Earthen, who were created by the Masters of the Universe, the Titans, and they pretty much helped shape Azeroth for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And the old gods corrupted some of the Earthen with the curse of flesh and turned them into dwarves. And while, you know, as a PC and as a smart gamer, I figure it out pretty fast. But I figured it out pretty fast what the lore was and everything. And I think it was in the Warcraft 3 guidebook, the lore. But you know, Bronze is still figuring it out, so we got to do this event now. And our tank, or our healer, Faith, just mentioned that she hates this dungeon. I agreed, and now she cast Levitate on everybody. I love this Levitate. I did get a priest to 90, and priests were fun. I did like Levitate. The best was the confession glyph. That was a blast to use on random people, and they would confess that they punt gnomes and stuff like that. But yeah, so Braun's gonna keep doing stuff, and he's gonna try to get stuff done, and then he trips some security system, and they're like, "Oh no, they're not allowed to access the archives. We should kill them." And we're like, "Oh, shut up. We don't care." Oh, see. She has confessed. Someone just confessed about the Sunwow. I confess. I asked a friend for gold to buy my first mount. I wasn't really at the opening of On Quajar. I just read about it. That's true for me. What is that? On Courage was a raid in normal WoW, and they had a huge pre-opening event for it, and you could like do stuff. Yeah, another obnoxious thing about this event is these guys shoot lasers out of their eyes and stuff, and it's just a lot of AoE damage going down, and it's not the best dungeon. And I did have to heal this on my priest every once in a while, and it was not as fun. So yeah, I'd rather be doing another dungeon for my first. dungeon playthrough World of Warcraft, but this is what you guys get. I mean, seriously, this is kind of dumb. However, I will brag about this achievement. Going back to the topic of classic WoW, I did have to grind through starting areas to get my ambassador title. I did go through that to get exalted with everybody. You had to grind through starting areas and do lane low level quests. I got ambassador eventually, and then I used that to also get all the mounts, and then got the white Drake for having 50 mounts. The worst part about that was grinding rep with the Maghar, which I don't think anybody should ever have to do again. You literally have to kill thousands of mobs, and it's kind of ridiculous. But this is the event that everyone hates, and so far it's not so bad. But eventually, you know, this guy starts shooting stuff out of her eyes, and then this guy starts shooting like fire lasers out of his eyes, and it drops a huge AoE patch of fire on the ground. If you stand in it for too long, you die, obviously. So you're not allowed to stand in the fire. And yeah, this is pretty much it. It's not that exciting yet, but bigger ads come, and trust me, when you were capped at 80, this dungeon sucked. But now that you can go to 90, and you know, leveling is ridiculous in OP. Yeah, you don't have to. Why am I'm still an aspect of the cheetah. I'm an idiot. I do that a lot. You guys will notice it. So this is another one of the exotic pets. It's a dinosaur. And you can get them in like Ungoro Crater. They're huge dinosaurs, and they're actually pretty cool. I don't really like them that much. I like the worms better. This is my little worm named Chill. Oh, see, there's the fire lasers. Told you they happened. And you don't want to stand in that, because look at this guy's been standing in it for too long. He's already at 67% health. Batty batty. Cat in a flies. Cat in a flies. Oh, I almost stood in it. But yeah, luckily we got a good healer and tank, so nobody's actually like dying or anything in this. But Braun could seriously figure this out a little bit faster. I got stuff to do. I got levels to make and better dungeons to do, because I'd rather do level 77 dungeons so I get rep with Kirintor. Just being honest. Just being honest with you guys. Come on, Braun. Yep. Bigger guys coming. Another talent that I got recently, 75, is this Blink Strike. And this Blink Strike is kind of ridiculous. Oh, Jesus. That was close. Blink Strike, my pet teleports behind them up to a 40-yard range and does 600% damage. And it's on like a 20-second cooldown or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a blast. And what I do is I like stack it with Kill Command, or use Kill Command right after, and it pretty much almost one-shots anybody out there. It's kind of a fun little move. It's great for leveling. This priest is good. I'm not taking any damage. I'm absorbing it all. That's what a disc priest does. Oh, we almost got purged. So he figured it out, and I got new oh, no, it's worse than what I have. Never mind. I'll just greet it. So now Bronze is like, oh yeah, you're right, I can come back later. I think I need to go to the entrance. And it's like, acknowledged. Bronze beers Bronzen. Bronzen. That's weird. Anyway, he wants to figure out what's up with the dwarves. Dwarves aren't that cool, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, my first character was a dwarf hunter, but they're kind of weird, and they don't really have a designated leader now. They have the Council of Three, and you know, no real race should have a council. It is better than the Blood Elf leader. The Blood Elf leader, nobody cares about, because 90% of Blood Elves are gay anyway. So the other 10% are girls. It's true facts. Look it up. Wikipedia. Wikipedia that shit. Let's see. What do I think about other races though? The Alliance, humans, they run kind of weird. Here, I can even show you guys because I have a human form. The way their like arms move back and forth, it's like it's just too tight. It's not natural. Kind of weird. So I've never really rolled a human for long. The Night Elf men are worse though, and I just can't bring myself to run a female character. I don't know why. I'm not sexist or anything. I just can't roleplay a female character. It would just be weird for me. But Night Elves run a little weird. Draenei are alright, except for their goat legs. Kind of weird. I mean, they are kind of goat, squid, alien, outer spacemen that are more holy than the light. I don't know where Blizzard got the idea for them. Well, I do. They got it for them in Warcraft 3, but still, it was like kind of weird. It just really was. And now we're gonna kill this guy. This is the final boss, the Iron Shaper. He actually used to be hard too in Heroic. I don't remember exactly what he did, but ads were spawning. And I remember this being a very confusing fight. I just don't remember what was confusing about it because I'm a bad player. And I was ranged DPS, so I don't have to do anything serious. No skills required. Oh, it's my first time doing this. Yay, got the achievement. Well, I don't actually need that, do I? Okay. I don't need dodge. That was my first time going through that, and I have too high a gear for any of this. Oh yes, I have an item level high enough for specific dungeons. Anyway, that was Hall of Stones, and it was kind of a rough playthrough, but I mean, if you guys... I didn't really explain a lot of it except for that event. But yeah, it's easy now because it's a leveling dungeon, and Wrath of the Lich King is old school. But yeah, that was Hall of Stones, and I hope to see you guys around. And remember that you are beautiful. Just want you guys to remember that. See you guys later.